Okay, so I want to talk about my completely classless intro, which you are witnessing right now. Having got that out of the way, I want to talk about the results from my real world shit hits the fan end-fed half-wave antennas on 20 meters and one that I used on 40 meters and 15 meters, and I also used on 80 meters as a quarter wave radiator. So having said that, I think I've completed the requirements for a completely crappy intro, so let's take a look. Sorry to scare you with another look at the mothership. Now, I'm really pretty nervous when I'm doing this, so what I did was typed up some notes that I'd like to talk about, things I'd like to talk about. Come on, get off of there. When I'm doing now, the way I operate when making a video for YouTube is not the same as when I'm just sitting around searching and pouncing. But anyway, when I'm searching and pouncing, whether making a video or not, I never use any filters. I just use a standard APF filter, and in some cases I might even go into the menu settings and lessen the effect of the APF filter. Anyway, I don't like using a filter. I like it nice and wide. I want to see who's around me. You know, you can hear 4 or 5 call signs being rattling away in the background when you're listening, when you're waiting to work somebody. So anyway, enough said there. When I operate these contests, whether making a video or not, I'm never reporting the results. Who cares if I keep an accurate serial number count? It doesn't matter. As long as I give somebody a unique number, there's not a problem. And I'll generally start low and work my way high. And nobody says I've got to give the first queue contact a serial number of 1. I might give them a serial number of 123. It doesn't matter. Who cares? I need to just complete the requirements of the exchange. What I like about the CQ Worldwide WPX contests, both phone and CW, there's no crazy exchange. I've seen there's contests out there where you've got to exchange the last station worked, your call, the current call, and oh man, you know, 5 or 6 pieces of information. Hey, you know what? When I'm searching and pouncing, and all I want to do is work at that final 50th state, or see what countries I can work. I don't want to. It's too much work, man. Yeah, let me give them a serial number or my state. And another thing I like about the CQ WPX contests, they'll run endless streams of the same old. Sheer numbers is all they have, and it's everything they have. So I'm N8, NK. How many N8s do they want to work? An infinite number. So I like that. Okay, I've already mentioned my numbering scheme. Contesters are crazy. And toward the end, they can taste blood. And they want to work anybody and everybody, and it doesn't matter how puny and weak you are. This is your golden opportunity, man. They'll sit there calling CQ over and over and over, and you've got a call sign, and you're worth gold to them, and they can hear you. Believe me, if you can hear them, more than likely they can hear you. More than likely, unless conditions on his end or her end are not very favorable. in terms of QRM or QRN. Those guys, you hear somebody giving out, they're up to, in the thousands, and you've only worked 2 or 3. Should you fear him? What about when he gets to in the 10,000 range? No, it means not. They want you the most. The louder they are, the bigger their numbers, the more they want you. They're dead serious about the contest. Don't be afraid to call them. And I'll show you that in a little picture I took, a screenshot, okay? These contests are perfect for shit hits the fan antenna practicality testing in a real world way. No RBN skimmer bullshit. These people can hear you. You heard them, they heard you, you're exchanging information with them. This is a real world test of desperation or compromised antennas. Another note, one thing I've noticed when testing these real low NPED wires is you'll notice severe QSB when on a better antenna you may notice none or you may notice some. For example, on my 10-meter vertical, on my vertical, when I've seen many cases where I'll have a couple S units of signal variance due to QSB, while on the NPED I'll see severe QSB, 5-6 S units or more. On your vertical, the S9 signal may drop down to S5. On the NPED, he's gone. So because of that, you need to ride the QSB wave until the ham you're hearing is workable. And if he sounds strong to you, oh, he's workable. Man, you know what? This thing has really opened my eyes up to the possibilities. You know what, man? I went into this contest knowing, sure, I'm going to make contacts. I was pretty darn confident. I mean, I already have, right? Including DX with 2-foot-high wires. So I went into it pretty confident. But what I found, man, it's astounding. It's astounding, and I'll mention more I'll mention it now. Toward the end of the contest, I gave up on working states. I was busy, man. During this whole contest, man, I had grass to mow. I had things to do, man, whenever it stopped pouring out. So, and it did get nice out. So I came and went. And where was I going with that? Oh, so toward the end of the contest, I gave up on states, and I just wanted to see what kind of DX I could work. And I wasn't hearing very much. I just wasn't hearing. Here, let's look at something else. Man, I wasn't hearing much DX. Some, sure. And what I was hearing, man, they were incredibly loud. Shockingly loud. But not the volume that I was expecting. And I started thinking, yeah, oh man, band conditions are probably bad or whatever, maybe Marianne at spaceweather.com got her way and we've been assaulted by a solar event. She gets to watch Aurora, and we get to be miserable. Sorry, man. Sorry, Marianne. You know I mean it, but anyway, so I caught myself sitting there thinking, where's all the DX? There's some, they're loud, but dang, man, it's a kind. And then I'd realize, yeah, I'm not connected to a spectacular performing vertical. I'm connected to a piece of wire, a piece of speaker wire, hanging on the top of a couple bamboo sticks at eye level. it was a reality check. I had to keep putting myself through that reality check, and I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, I'll show you why in a minute. My band scanning method. Here's how I work the bands. If I turn the rig on and the contest is in full mayhem, I go to the very top where the pickings are thin, where the semi-sanity prevails, and I'll work my way down toward the madness. And when I hit into the .040s, .050s range, boom, I'm gone. I drop all the way to the bottom of the band, to the very bottom, and start clawing my way up through the extra class portion. And once I've worked my way up to the .025 level, that's where mayhem breaks out, man. I'm gone. Back to the very top till there's nothing heard. And that's the process. That's the process. In the middle of the night, if things are pretty calm, if you know the mayhem has settled down a bit, then I don't use that. I'll just go to the bottom of the band, either to the .000 point or to the bottom of the general the U.S. general class portion, .025, and then, you know, work as I can in the middle of the night, depending on how crazy the contest is. And this one was madness. Like I said, arguably, in my opinion, this is the second most popular contest of the whole year. And also, in my opinion, CQ organization owns the #1 contest, being the same one I just worked, but the phone equivalent. So I gotta quit doing that, because this microphone, my audio capabilities are minimal at best, and I hope I'm not clipping or cracking your eardrums. The problem is you probably can't hear me. So I didn't go for huge numbers. I started working the states I could work, and then when the pickings got real thin, I screwed around. The whole time I operated this contest, I was sitting at my ham desk, yeah, but I was screwing around with other, you know, tuning the band, sure, but doing other things. And if I heard a new state, I'd try to work him. And toward the end, I concentrated on DX, and so it is what it is. And contact total 65 contacts. In how much operating time, that's something I'm going to show you when we look at my log files. 31 states. Keep in mind, man, this is with a piece of wire hanging at eye level on bamboo sticks. 31 states. 3/5 of your Worked All States award in one weekend, with real world shit hits the fan desperation antennas. I worked 7 DXCC entities, including Canada, not including myself. Contacts by band. There you go. 20 meters was the workhorse, but the thing is, now add the other 3 bands together if you want to see. That's how many I worked using that antenna. The 40 meter and fed half-wave wire served as my antenna on 80, 40, and 15. So add those 3 up, and what do you get? 35. So these are the countries I've worked. Not shabby. Not shabby. Okay, enough of that dribble. Let's take a look-see at the photos. The photos. This one here is the states I've worked. We'll look at that last, okay? Contest clubs. Yeah. Look at the name of this cut right down here. Some of these stations, oh, what was this called? WX1X or W1XX. Oh man, I'd have to look at my log. Anyway, man, that station was on all bands at all times. They worked it hard. And if you don't think they want to work you desperately bad, you're crazy. They want to work you just desperately bad. Look at you know, man, it's fun, man. Okay, log files. What I want to do, now bear with me, I want to leave these full screen for a reason. Because as I flip through them, things get confusing for me if I don't. And probably you too. So anyway, it took four frickin' screenshots on my laptop in my radio room to capture all the files, all the stations I worked, man. And this was a half-assed attempt at trying out these antennas, man. It's ridiculous. This was the first out of the gate, N7TU. Yeah, thank you, man. N7, thank you, man. So let's look at the times. Now ignore the states, ignore everything. Let's just look at the times on, okay? And this is in UTC. On at 0247. Let's see how long I worked in this contest. And this isn't time spent, you know, focused, you know, locked in on my rig, man, just working it hard. This is time spent screwing off whilst sitting in front of the rig. 247 knocked off at 436. Okay, so what's that, you know? An hour and 3/4. There's an hour and 3/4 spent there. Oops, sorry, man. I guess we'll do this. On at 2241. Off at 2330. So how, you know, not even an hour there. Okay, so now I'm going to have to flip to the next screenshot. I got back on at 131. Here he is here. Okay, on at 131, I made 2 contacts and I took off. I screwed off. Okay, 8:30. Let's call it 10. There's another hour and a half. So what are we up to, man? Under 3 hours. About 3 hours. Okay. Okay, so now I was back on at 11:02, right? I'm going to flip to the next sheet. Here we are down here. I love this guy's call, by the way, K4RUM. That's cool, man. There's some really, really creative and cute call signs people are using, and not just in the U.S. Let's see. Okay, back to it. Back on at about 11:02, I think it was. Off at 12:45. So there's an hour and 45 minutes. 1 contact. Let's see. I keep getting lost. Okay, 1 contact there, right? A single contact. 2 more single contacts. You know, if that's not searching pounds, I don't know what is. You stroll into your radio room and hammer out a QSO or 2 and you're gone. Okay, back on at 22:30. This will be the last sheet and not much will change. Oh, before I flip to that, you'll see at this point, this here was my last domestic contact. We're at KT0 Alpha in South Dakota. Thanks, Gary. You're the best. And then I turned to DX. I'm like, nah, screw this. I sat there at the desk screwing around just looking for DX. And I wanted to take off. It was an hour before the contest ended, as you'll see. I wanted to take off, man, real bad. So 22:30 back on, wanting to work DX. And I did. Italy, France, Slovenia, Germany. Last sheet. Let's see. Okay, that's so yeah. Italy, France, Slovenia, Germany, Serbia, Hungary, Croatia, Italy, another station from Hungary. Oops, sorry. And that was the last station worked. Hotel Golf 3 Romeo, Laszlo in Hungary, and yeah, at 2311, man. There was still, 50 minutes left to go, man, and 49 minutes left to go, and I had to get set up for my Death of a Contest video. Full disclosure, best practice requires honesty. And that was my intention. And here come the states. Here come the states. That's what I worked. And this stunned me. Quite frankly, it stunned me. Because when I went into the contest, I mentioned by the end I had lost sight of the fact that I was operating on desperation wire, real world shit hits the fan antennas. And about as bad as you can get. Those antennas I used were about as bad as you can get. Well, you can get worse. I threw the wire on the deck and proceeded to work a DX contact, but that's freak stuff, man. I wanted to see who I could exchange information with in a real world hard times comes a calling situation. And this is who I worked, and it blew me away. I'm quite used, I live in Michigan, I'm really used to being able to work stations up and down the eastern seaboard. It's not that far away, right? It's just not very far away. And even my crappy test antennas can I can do pretty good on the East Coast, and that's what I expected. I expected to immediately work Ohio and Indiana, Pennsylvania. I fully expected to smoke all the states around me: West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, Wisconsin, Ohio, and Illinois, and PA, New York. And surprise, surprise, I never worked Wisconsin, I never worked Indiana, Kentucky, or West Virginia. Right? Things weren't going as planned. Things, what I thought was going to be the reality was absolutely not the reality. I was not limited to the states around me. And I started working California and Arizona, Utah, Montana. Look at what I worked. Scattered all over the United States equally. Oh my God. So I guess this should answer anybody's question. If shit hits the fan in the real world right now, can I talk to anybody if I throw a piece of wire up and over something? Well, that's what I wanted too. And so, not having any bushes or big rocks to throw my wires over, I did have some bamboo sticks that I taped together and made about as high as I stand tall. And I just draped the wires relatively loosely over the top of them. I think the 20-meter wire antenna, it took me 5 minutes to build it, and it took me 2 minutes to install it. A little more time for the 40-meter wire just because it kept tangling and pissing me off. You know how it goes, man. So my intention here is to post after this post will be the contacts. I'll start with the domestic ones, and then the next post will be the DX. I didn't do one big monster video because people won't like that crap, and not everybody watching this knows CW. And if I didn't know CW, I'm certainly not going to sit and watch a 45-minute video all about CW. Right? I try to make my decoder readable. for folks that don't know CW. And you know what, man, some guys, real YouTube creators, they'll annotate the video, they'll make an overlay with text so that you can see what's happening, you know, so that you can understand what's being said. But quite frankly, man, I've never done it. If I had before, I would have. You know, I'm an old fart, man. I'm retired. I got no excuse. I've got the time to do that. I just don't know how. And maybe I'll learn to do that. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, oh my Lord, you can work them if you can hear them. If you can get your transmitter to pump some power into your load, into your speaker wire, you're going to work contacts, man. That antenna's not going to fail to save you. You're going to fail to save yourself. And it's not going to be ham radio related. That's another story, another matter. So, hey, I know. For the perfect classless outro from mid-Michigan, an hour and a half north of Detroit. Okay, full disclosure, man, I'm not an hour north of Detroit. I used to be. I better prove. Goodbye. Goodbye. Now Control Shift left. Ooh, we got lots of timestamp errors. Oh my. I'm going to click pause. I'm going to click save. Then we'll visit YouTube and post. Done with you. Done with you. You know what, man? I'll be serious for a second. Thanks for putting up with my bullshit and my horrible quality street level ham radio videos. I do appreciate it. And I do appreciate your comments, because it's one of the high points of my life as an old Bart retiree, is reading people's thoughts. So I like ham radio. I'm interested in what you think. I might not always agree with you. I usually will, probably. But if I don't, that's fine. That's what makes it an interesting world. 73.